almost didn't make it. I almost didn't last. Why does the week go by so slow, the weekend so fast? But luckily the days come to take my cares away. It's not Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. That's right, it's Friday. Friday. Tonight I'll party with my friends. Friday. Friday. Today I know the weekend. So I'll get out of bed and be to work on time. I'll give this day to the company, the next 2 days of mine. And when my day's over and the final work hour's passed, I'll go home, have a shot of Cuero to the boss who can kiss my Friday. Friday. Tonight I'll party with my friends. Friday. Friday. Today I know the weekends. Friday. Friday.
Yeah! It's Friday, bitches. Enjoy yourselves. Breakfast chili.
Breakfast chili.
Gene somehow thought I wanted breakfast chili. I appreciate that. I'm going to try it. I would have preferred like a big farmer breakfast. Some eggs and bacon and toast.
I didn't make a farmer's breakfast for 25 young runners last night. I made chili.
I'm getting leftover runner chili.
You are.
All right.
I made 5 gallons
I saw that.
of
I did.
chili for the cross-country team dinner.
Final one of your life?
Final one of my life.
You sure? Is there playoffs?
Well, you're right. I could have a bonus one I don't see coming. But tomorrow is the Dick Mitchell up at Maple Grove. So lots of schools coming to town for a sectional that we're volunteering in the chute. Do you know what that means?
Is that when they go down the chute?
That is when they come across the finish line.
Okay.
And if you know anything about cross-country runners, I'll talk to Shaw about this.
It's a really long run
they
in the woods.
Often fall down.
Because of the roots?
No, when they've crossed the finish line. They've given it all. All the gas is gone. The gas
exhausted.
is out of the tank. They often fall down.
Like lazy teenagers? They just fall down?
They're not lazy
Ask for their
teenagers.
phone?
Absolutely athletes.
Where's my phone?
Not that. Or they're fine, or they barf. Those are the 3 things that happen.
So
They're either completely
you're
fine.
manning the barf station. All right.
I'm manning the barf station for 2 hours. A lot of that.
What did he say? If you blow chunks and she bolts, then it wasn't meant to be?
That's right.
If you hurl and she stays, then
it's love. It's true love.
All right.
I'm gonna be there for those kiddos.
We got a lot to get to, including 3 ways with Shaw, bad news, happy music. No Doc this week. We had him earlier because he's at the Oktoberfest race weekend out in West Salem. We will talk to Office Cora, find out what's going on in the 715, and we'll get to all sorts of other stuff as well. If you need something, rockmornings.com is our website. Find all our contact info there. We'll try to get some Metallica and Alice in Chains in just a bit.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Back to Alonso.
Lindor at third, Nimmo at first. The pitch. Swing and a ball drilled. Right field. Freelick back. At the wall. Out of here! It's out of here! Alonso, an opposite field home run, and the Mets had the lead.
Field over the fence power. And look at his head position. He just flicked it and yelled, knowing he got all of it.
Wow. Alonso the homer, and this place is stunned.
That's one way to put it.
Why
Stunned.
you do me like that?
Sorry, Shaw.
Right off the bat.
This is the closest team that I have played on that it makes it that much more disappointing. Everyone did their job except me. I feel like I let everyone down.
Said Devin Williams.
When you have a pitch that has a special name because it's so damn good, the airbender, and you go out there and you cough up a game-winning home run late in the game, 9th inning. Brutal loss for the
It was terrible.
Brewers last night. Brutal to the Mets, and they're out. Season's over. Mets moving on, taking on the Phillies.
Want a little more on the story?
I'd love to hear. I
else?
got to assume this is it for Euchre, right?
You know, Mary and I talked about that last night. I said, make sure you enjoy listening to him because we don't know if he'll be back next year. I mean,
Well, he had a handshake deal this year, and he came and did the games he wanted to. Doesn't travel with the team. He does a few home games here and there. He shows, and that, I think people are okay with that, and maybe he'll do the same thing next year. But
there's always that possibility, though. that he will not.
So
be
what? What else you got?
Well, the Brewers couldn't have set things up any better for themselves as they headed into the 9th inning of the deciding game in their NL Wildcard Series. They owned a 2-0 lead over the New York Mets and had retired 12 consecutive Mets batters. And they had two-time NL reliever of the year Devin Williams coming out of the bullpen. Then everything fell apart in stunningly swift fashion. Williams gave up 4 runs in the 9th inning of a 4-2 loss that ended the Brewers season. He had allowed just 3 runs all year before yesterday.
What the heck?
Yeah. Williams posted a 1.25 ERA during the regular season, striking out 38 batters, converting 14 saves in 15 opportunities. He had allowed just 1 home run all year long heading into that 9th inning. Vice President Kamala Harris has rallied side by side with Republican Liz Cheney in the birthplace of the modern Republican Party in Ripon, Wisconsin. The 2 women yesterday delivered a double-barrel denunciation of GOP nominee Donald Trump as a threat to democracy. It was an improbable moment, a Democratic nominee giving a nod to a rival party member and to the origins of the opposing party in the closing weeks of a presidential campaign. Cheney urged the crowd to reject the depraved cruelty of Donald Trump. Harris's visit to Wisconsin came a day after a federal judge unsealed a 165-page court filing outlining prosecutors' case against Trump for his attempt to overturn his 2020 election defeat. Trump has pleaded not guilty to charges of conspiracy and instruction. How much can you trust elections in America to be fair? 3 retired congressmen from Wisconsin told an audience in La Crosse last night that they believe the system is very fair with little fraud. Tim Petri served almost 40 years in the House from eastern Wisconsin, and he says voters have many chances to see how elections are run.
And if there's a question, if it's a very close election, for example, you are entitled, if it's within a narrow margin, to ask for a recount, and there's a whole process for doing that. You have observers, both parties have it, watching it. You can hire lawyers. They can, if there are questions about any particular ballot.
Petri took part in a panel discussion at the Pump House with former 3rd District Congressman Ron Kind and former Green Bay Representative Reed Ribble. Minnesota murder suspect Adam Fravel will go on trial next week in Mankato, and the judge in the case has decided on the types of testimony that won't be permitted in court. Judge Nancy Beitendorf of Winona has ruled that some statements or information about murder victim Madeline Kingsbury dealing with abuse and safety will not be admitted at trial. Fravel, who is Kingsbury's former boyfriend, is accused of killing her last year in Winona County and disposing of her body. The trial could last for much of the month of October. It has been moved out of Winona because of pretrial publicity. There is no squeeze on Charmin. Toilet paper makers say that U.S. consumers don't need to fear shortages due to the 3-day strike this week at U.S. ports. The American Forest and Paper Association, which represents makers of toilet paper, facial tissues, and paper towels,
I already don't believe you,
said it was not aware of the strike having any impact on tissue product delivery in the U.S. The association spoke out after seeing reports on social media of consumers stocking up on toilet paper. But the trade group said about 85% of our toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, and tissues used in the U.S. is made by U.S.-based producers and therefore not affected by the strike. The union, representing 45,000 striking U.S. dock workers at East and Gulf Coast ports, reached a deal to suspend that strike until mid-January to provide time to negotiate a new contract.
You know who
now
says
you
that?
start to realize who the longshoremen are, right? People never gave a about us until now, when they finally realized that the chain is being broke now.
Can't get enough of it.
I know.
As a person who's never worked in a union, I completely understand about, I'm not an idiot. I've never worked in an industry that has unions or never, achieved that position. To hear someone like that is in charge of your group, you know what I mean? To go out in front and say that about you, it's like, it's got to feel good. Right?
He sounds like a union guy.
He sure does. If you were to make one out of clay, yes.
That'd be the AI inside of him. How do you program him with the AI? You put that guy in. But you know what I mean, though? Like having a boss that goes out there, you don't know. No one gave a rat's ass about this person, until all of a sudden this person's not around. Now you see what's up.
So they're going back to work already?
Yep, they're going back to work.
So that you're...
The great toilet paper.
Well, they're taking a break on the strike, and they'll bring it back in January if they can't figure out a deal.
Yeah, they hope they give themselves time to negotiate a new contract.
Yes.
Three-way with Shaw. Did you watch all 9 innings, the entire thing?
Did you?
Jumping up and down for much of it, and then went, oh.
Boy, it has been just a disappointing decade, if you will, for the Brewers.
Haven't won a playoff series since 2018.
Yeah.
Swept in the first round last 2 seasons.
And they have these teams that are not powerhouses, small market team, and you're building through the draft, and you're building through your farm system, and then occasionally you'll pick up like a little, a little free agent here and there, and like back when CC Sabathia joined you guys, for that run, and it was like, oh man, and obviously that was
missing piece. We
can't
lose.
That was many years ago, obviously. That continues. Continues to, and you lose your all-star player, right? Yelich goes down, and he's out for the season, and then all these guys are stepping up, and you got rookies and Churio and Frelix, and you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, it could be this year. And then all of a sudden, big dump in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Big, huge dump, and it's the same thing every year. You get rid of Counsell, he goes to the Cubs, and what a disappointing season for him, and you bring in this guy who's like an old-school manager-looking dude. And it looks like it might be the thing that they need. And
for 8 innings, it looked like they were going to win last night.
Oh, God. To have the rug pulled out from underneath you.
It hurts.
But you did make the playoffs. You won the NL Central. You got a bright future, it looks like. You just hope that in the playoffs they can start making some noise. Sorry, Shaw.
I know.
More three-ways plus bad news, happy music later on. Right now, it's Metallica.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
45-yard line. Robinson is the back. That's fired. That's caught. And that is Hodge. And Hodge is going to take it to the end zone. A most improbable win for the Atlanta Falcons.
That ends up being 509 yards and 4 touchdowns for Cousins.
An absolutely crazy Thursday night football game. This is what the NFL wants. Normally we get dog crap on Thursday nights, but this game was exciting. It was wild.
Really?
It was back and forth. It was overtime. It was Kirk Cousins. You like that? 509 yards, career high.
Get out of town.
For Kirk Cousins, along with 4 touchdowns, the last of them. A 45-yard scoring pass to Kadarrell Hodge, in overtime that gave the Falcons an improbable 36-30 win over the Buccaneers last night to kick off Week 5.
500 yards?
And 9 yards, yeah. Kirk Cousins, right? Crazy. So, yeah, if you weren't watching the Brewers, you got yourself a pretty exciting and entertaining game. On Thursday Night Football on Prime last night. Not too shabby. Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, you do like that, Kirk Cousins. Obviously, the Brewers did lose. Pete Alonso hitting a go-ahead 3-run ding-dong off of all-star closer Devin Williams in the 9th inning. And the Mets beat the Brew Crew 4-2 last night to win their NL Wildcard Series. ALDS and NLDS Series both kick off on Saturday, tomorrow, with Detroit at Cleveland. That's at 12:08 on TBS. Mets will be in Philly to take on the Phillies, 3:08 on Fox. Royals are at the Yankees at 5:38 on TBS. Padres at the Dodgers, 7:38. That game will be on FS1. Vikings in London on Sunday, taking on the Jets, 8:30 on the NFL Network. Bears will be at hosting the Panthers on Sunday at noon. Packers in L.A. to take on the Rams on Sunday at 3:25. And tomorrow, the Badgers will host Purdue at 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network. So Badgers trying to get right after 2 straight losses. Yep. Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark.
Rookie of the Year.
Right? A near unanimous pick for WNBA Rookie of the Year.
Saw that.
Number 1 draft pick back in April. Got 66 of 67 votes from a national media panel. The only other vote went to Angel Reese.
The commish called on a cell phone. The team was standing all around in Connecticut, I think, to play. And the commish, I like saying that, called on a speakerphone and was like, hey, Rookie of the Year for you.
Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get back to Shaw in just a bit. Also got some Alien Ant Farm on the way. By the way, that Limp Bizkit was by request. Had a couple of early morning requests. Hank Hill said, corn is awesome in the AM. Can we hear some Limp as well? Chad wanted to hear some Waylon, Indiana Jones. Justin wants to hear some Ozzy. So we'll try to squeeze some of that stuff in this morning. Definitely going to get to that Alien Ant Farm in just a few.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Oh, you know who you are. You've been doing your daily action, putting lots of overtime. You need some time off satisfaction. Just think how tough it's been. You've been putting out all that labor. If you use your wit, you can get out quick and do yourself a favor. Friday in effect, and you're pretty beat, I bet. It's been one tough week, you've hit your peak, and you've earned your paycheck. But now this week is over, and it's a little fun you're seeking. Your grin is wide, and I know why. Look out, here come the weekend.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? That weekend's gonna be a monster, y'all.
Gonna be really warm tomorrow. Might have to turn the AC back on for a minute. And then dropping back down into the low to mid 60s on Sunday. Method Man, the first guest on the premiere of Fat Joe's new talk show called Fat Joe Talks. Well, they really went out of their way to find a name for that one. Mm-hmm. That's on Stars tonight. Also on Stars tonight, the series finale of Power Book 2 Ghost. Sounds like reading Chinese stereo instructions. I have no idea what any of that stuff is. Over on the We Network tonight, the series premiere of Tia Mowry, My Next Act. Her and her twin sister had a couple of shows on the CW, I think, back in the day. Tia and Tamara.
All right, okay.
Over on Bravo, Sci-Fi, and USA Network tonight, the series premiere of Jordan Peele's reboot of the prank show Scare Tactics. So if you like watching people get scared...
I like watching him go through haunted houses, Shaw. Mm-hmm. That is one of my favorites.
Saturday Night Live tonight, or this weekend, is hosted by comedian Nate Bargatze, and Coldplay will be the musical guest.
Yeah.
Over on Paramount Plus, the series finale of SEAL Team on Sunday night. Sunday Night Football on NBC this week is the Stillers hosting the Cowboys.
It's a big one.
Yeah, the Steelers surprisingly really good. They just lost their first game of the season last week, so they've you know, for all intents and purposes, look like a pretty good team.
And the Cowboys tend to underperform. So.
Yeah. American Music Awards 50th anniversary special on CBS on Sunday night. Also, Sunday night on HBO, episode 3 of The Penguin. All of the late night shows tonight are in repeats. Apparently, they're only doing new shows on Monday through Thursday. New in theaters this weekend, the Joker sequel. It's a musical, by the way, so if you're going to this thing and you're expecting a movie...
It's a musical?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of singing and dancing.
Wow, okay. I didn't get that from the trailer, but...
Well, it is. It's Joaquin... I don't think it's like Grease, where they're singing every single... You know, every scene's like... It's hydromatic. I don't think it's like... But there's going to be a lot of singing and dancing. Joaquin Phoenix returning as Arthur Fleck from the 2019 Joker. This one a musical. Brendan Gleeson from the Harry Potter films is an abusive Arkham guard. Catherine Keener, who you might remember from The 40-Year-Old Virgin, plays Arthur's lawyer. And then, of course, Lady Gaga is his love interest. Joker Folie à Deux, rated R, in theaters this weekend. Also, White Bird, rated PG-13. It's a sequel to Wonder, starring Helen Mirren, the grandmother of a bully named Julian, and sharing the story of how a classmate's kindness helped her survive the Holocaust.
That sounds heavy.
As far as new music is concerned, Coldplay, we found out about that yesterday. Moon Music, debuting at a bar in Moon, Wisconsin.
Yes. It was a listening party.
Right.
All right, well, they're actually releasing the CD today. It's their 10th album. Toby Keith has a new album out, Shaw, called 13 Number Ones, a collection of his biggest hits from 93 to 2005. He obviously is passed away now, but there you go. That's what's in theaters and on TV and new music that you can check out.
Can't you watch Deadpool and Wolverine? Didn't they come out?
Streaming, I think it started streaming on Prime. You could buy, you got to buy it or rent it or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, so
that might be tonight.
It's either Prime or it's a Disney movie, right? So
watching some local high school football action on the stream, and then maybe that movie before the end of the night.
We're in the midst of our Halloween spectacular.
Binge.
So, like a lot of people that we know, Shaw, we start watching Halloween movies exclusively, or scary movies, if you will, horror films, starting on October 1st. Not that we don't watch them throughout the rest of the year, but that's kind of all we watch for the month of October.
You do one a day, is that right? Or
try to. I don't usually. Part of the problem is the wife doesn't get home till like 5:20, 5:30ish. We have dinner. Next thing you know, it's after 6, and about 7 o'clock, I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I'm out, and so we've only got about half the movie done. So we usually we try to get.
But the weekend's here, so that might be different, and it's not Oktoberfest this weekend. So.
No, relax after I got an event to MC tonight, and after that, it's going to be trying to clean up these sinuses because I don't know if you can hear it, but it's brutal. Right now.
You sound like you're suffering a bit.
It's going around. It's happening. Yeah. My house is.
Today is I'm on the back end of it. Yesterday was probably the worst of it. So Three-way with Shaw in the newsroom. What else happening?
A year and a half after a Winona area woman was murdered, her former boyfriend is about to go on trial in Minnesota. The judge in the Adam Fravel trial has made rulings on what testimony can be used in court during a trial that will begin on Monday. Fravel is accused of killing Madeline Kingsbury in early 2023. Kingsbury's remains were found weeks after she was reported missing. Some statements by Kingsbury about safety and abuse will not be allowed as evidence in the case. The Fravel trial was moved out of Winona to Mankato because of extensive publicity about the murder. The Wisconsin Department of Justice has confirmed that its criminal investigators are looking into the removal of Wausau's absentee ballot drop box by the mayor. The agency said the Marathon County District Attorney had asked for assistance from DOJ, and its Division of Criminal Investigation will take the lead. Mayor Doug Dinney removed the city's lone drop box on September 22nd without consulting with the clerk, who has the authority over the use of drop boxes. Dinney posed for a picture with his hard hat and gloves on, holding the drop box before apparently hauling it away by himself. They are not mandatory in the state, but they are allowed. The mayor turned the box back over to the clerk, who had it reinstalled and bolted to the ground again earlier this week. Former members of Congress from both major parties got together in La Crosse last night to assure voters that most elections are conducted fairly. Longtime La Crosse Congressman Ron Kind was the lone Democrat on the panel, along with two retired Republican lawmakers. Kind wants citizens to have faith in the process.
Really, the hallmarks of our democracy is not only to participate and get out and vote, but also to accept the results of those elections and allow a peaceful transfer of power. Because if we lose that ability as a country to do that, then our democracy is really in peril.
Republicans Tim Petri and Reed Ribble also took part in the panel. Ribble says actual election fraud is much lower than many critics think.
We've had elections for over 200 plus years, and the actual amount of fraud is remarkably tiny, given the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of votes that have been cast over all those times.
La Crosse County Clerk Jenny Dankmeyer also spoke at the event. She said some poll workers have quit staffing elections because of threats from people who don't trust the voting.
Bro, these are like old ladies. They got nothing better to do with their time. They're volunteers. They're not like trying to influence the election. Good Lord. They're going to harass them?
Oh, they have. Yeah, not just locally, but all across the country.
Those people need to be hit over the head.
And Wisconsin will not have its leading rusher when it attempts to bounce back from a two-game skid. The Badgers issued a statement yesterday saying that Chaz Malusi is stepping away from the team on at least a temporary basis as he works to get healthy. Malusi has rushed for 232 yards on 56 carries this season to lead Wisconsin in both categories.
Just what they don't need.
Right, exactly.
But they did lose two in a row to better quality teams, and
sure,
they're coming
USC
home.
And Alabama, that's nothing to hang your head about.
Yeah, I mean, and their starting quarterback went out in the first series against Alabama, so yeah.
They gave USC a run, for half the game anyway.
Bro, they had it at halftime, and then they coughed it up in the second half. But yeah, this game at home against Purdue on Saturday tomorrow should be hopefully a win for the Badgers.
Football in October, 81 degrees, and maybe a chance of some rain at Camp Randall.
Did we get rain in town last night? Because I woke up and it was a little wet on my driveway.
Not that I knew of.
No, I didn't see any, but
all right. I had
very scattered, I heard.
Chance of some rain tomorrow night, and that looks to be about the only chance of rain through pretty much the end of next week. So we've been very dry and going to remain that way.
Three-way with Shaw in the newsroom. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll talk to him again in just a bit. Also going to get to bad news, happy music, and we'll be joined by Office Cora. She's going to talk to us a bit later on about things in the 715 that are happening this weekend. So more on that in just a bit. Right now, it's Alien Ant Farm.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
It's time for today's Lucky Land horoscope with Victoria Cash. Life's gotten mundane, so shake up the daily routine and be adventurous with a trip to Lucky Land. You know what they say. Your chance to win starts with a spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com to play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Alien Ant Farm with Smooth Criminal. Saw those guys at the top of the hill at Rockfest a couple of summers ago. They were excellent. I hadn't seen them in a long time, so it was good to revisit those memories. Hank texted in earlier, said he wanted to hear some Limp Bizkit. Did that. You're welcome. Chad wanted to hear some Waylon from Indiana Jones, or Indiana Jones from Waylon. There we go. I'll try to get to that after 7 o'clock. Somebody, Justin, wanted to hear some Ozzy. Somebody texted in, said it rained on the north side last night. Sarah says it rained at our house by Hillside Vet Clinic. That's kind of where I live, so yeah. It wasn't like completely soaked, But part of the deck in the backyard and then part of my driveway were still kind of wet when I wheeled the motorcycle out of the garage this morning. So I was like, must have kind of brief shower last night.
So these hot and dry weeks.
Of course, I get up at several hours before you leave the house. So it's
I wouldn't have even known it rained. Hot and dry. Another week of that. You know what it's good for? Farmers. It's accelerated the harvest, allowing for soybeans, potatoes, corn, all of that stuff. They've been very, 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 very busy trying to get all this stuff in while that hot, dry weather is still here. And it looks like we're not going to see any rain for the next significant anyway. There's a chance tomorrow, off and on, but I think any significant rain isn't in the forecast all of next week. So go get it. Get at it, farmers. What?
Get at it.
I know. My brother and his team are hard at it.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Foo Fighters in a couple of minutes. If you need something, you can get in touch with us. Find our contact info online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Foo Fighters, My Hero. The reports are that Dave Grohl has been seen without his wedding ring on, and wife has been getting kind of hunky-dory with some other people, and I'm sure things are not good in the world of Dave Grohl right now. A tradition unlike any other. Hello, friends.
Are we golfing?
No, the Augusta National Golf Club, however, is donating a large chunk of money to help with hurricane relief. This is where the Masters are held in Augusta, Georgia.
Yep.
They partnered with a charity for a joint $5 million donation to help victims in and around the Augusta, Georgia area, also making a separate donation directly to the Red Cross. So pretty cool move by the Augusta National Golf Club in the wake of Hurricane Helene and the destruction that's down there in the south.
Over 200, by the way, now. Did you hear that? The updated death toll?
Chairman of the Augusta National Golf Club, Fred Ridley, said in a statement yesterday, quote, "Our employees, neighbors, friends, and business owners need and deserve immediate and meaningful assistance to overcome the hardships being experienced at this moment throughout Augusta. Additional funds going to be used to support the American Red Cross and others in the immediate efforts to reinforce the Red Cross's mobile feeding truck and associated recovery center, which provides free water, food, laundry, showers, counseling, and other necessities to impacted residents." So, pretty cool move there.
Did you see it was a category 4 when it hit?
Yeah.
822 miles wide.
Brutal.
Yeah, and that's obviously continuing to affect that entire Tennessee, Western Virginia, North Carolina, that whole region.
There's also a food pharmacy that just opened up.
What's that mean?
In D.C. And it's not like we've seen, obviously, similar to the little free libraries. There's these little free...
Oh, yeah, they have those at schools and stuff where
food
kids
pantries.
Can go take stuff to take home to make dinner.
Right. Non-perishable food items, cans, boxes of mac and cheese, whatever it is.
Yeah.
This is a little different. This is for seniors, older people, and it's in D.C. And instead of drugs, like a normal pharmacy, medicine, all that stuff, they give out healthy food to help keep seniors with things like diabetes in check, keep their problems in check. Doctor writes a prescription for medically tailored groceries, and every 2 weeks you get restocked with stuff that's fresh, like produce, whole wheat pasta, and more.
So if you have diabetes, really having access to foods that are low in sugar, high in protein, fresh produce, it's really critical to being able to maintain your sugar levels where they should be. They can bring that prescription down into the food pharmacy and work with the nutritionist, and they can choose their groceries.
Kind of neat. No pills, inhalers, or suppositories. Just
good food available to them.
Good
so
fresh
they can
food.
Make sure.
Unity Healthcare CEO Dr. Jessica Henderson there talking about food being medicine. Joint venture for Unity Healthcare, Unity, and the Capital Area Food Bank, supported by grant funding from the J. Millard and Alice S. Marriott Foundation. Providers will screen for social determinants of health, and if a patient has trouble accessing healthy food, they will receive a prescription for medically tailored groceries at the food pharmacy. They can bring that prescription down to the food pharmacy and work with the nutritionist and our care coordinator who manages the facility, and they can choose their groceries. Each patient will get 40 pounds of fresh produce, whole wheat pasta, lean meats, and other healthy foods every 2 weeks.
Wow, that's significant.
A food pharmacy.
That's cool.
Getting started there in D.C.
That's cool.
Helping some of the seniors that live in that area. Maybe fixed income, right? Maybe don't have, someone to help them shop. Can't get around the grocery store all that well.
I think about that a lot with, we have 2 people in my family that have celiac disease. And if you are dependent on, someone
else kind of doing that,
portion of your groceries from a food bank or something like that on a regular, those options aren't there. They're just simply not there. Go get a loaf of gluten-free bread at the food pantry. Probably not a thing.
Artisan.
Well,
gluten-free bread. Yeah, no, I hear
$9 a loaf, right? It's just not. And how do those folks figure that all out? Rough.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Got an interesting text. Going to read it here when we get to Shaw. Stick around. We'll do that next.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Here are some Halloween decorating tips. Instead of buying fake cobwebs, use the real ones covering your exercise equipment. The giant skeleton in your yard is a fun way to say trespassers beware. It also says you spend way too much money on garbage at Home Depot. Make sure your sound effects include moans, shrieks, and cries for help, just like the other noises old people make when they fall in the shower. Remember, all of these tips are pointless if you're just serving stupid candy like candy corn or circus peanuts or Whoppers. Because trick-or-treaters will egg and toilet paper your house. Ask me for more Halloween decorating tips.
Circus peanuts. I saw those in the line at Menards. I was waiting to check out, and I'm like, God, I don't know if there's a worse candy.
No.
I mean, there's a lot of bad ones out there. I don't really dislike candy corns, but I don't choose to eat them. I can think of a million other candies that I don't want to eat.
We have a very, very, very nice young couple who bought the house next to us and have done tons of home improvements since the summer when they moved in. They painted and all that stuff. But they have now they've got like tombstones out in their front yard. And my husband came in last night. He's like, "We can't have this. That we gotta up our game. We can't.
You want me to come over?
The newbies are like outshining us, and we can't have this. We got to do something about it." So I think.
Well, and you have no excuses anymore because you got one kid living there now. Your excuse.
I don't have an excuse. I'm not trying to have an excuse.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
your excuse used to be your bank for excuses was, well, I got 3 kids and it's crazy and blah blah blah, and it's still crazy at your house, but. They're out. It's time for you guys to start, you've been there forever. Let's go here.
We have some tombstones that we painted and they decorated when they were younger in the garage. I'm getting those out this weekend. I got to light up. Why don't you
wait till after Halloween? It's basically over.
It's not over.
Bro, it's the 5th. It's over.
I needed to wait till Oktoberfest was over. Now it's time. I got to light up Ghost Shaw. I'm going to get a ghost out. It's not blow up. It's just a plastic one.
I would recommend, if I'm going to give you a number one recommendation, don't do too many blow ups. They don't last very long. They're kind of hard to manage. The wind, becomes an issue.
I do not need a dog barking at the inflatable outside constantly.
We get quite a few drive-bys now. We get a lot of looky-loos.
Nice.
My wife was counting.
You're on the map.
Oh yeah, I am. Oh yeah, we're a looky-loo. We're that house now. We're getting to that point, and I got more coming. I'm diving into this one. Like I do a little Christmas here. I can't compete with the Griswold down the street, so I'm gonna own Halloween in my neighborhood, Shaw.
Yep.
Lucas texted in and said, "Did you ever get your garage door Halloween banner?" I did actually last week.
I saw it when I dropped you off after your colonoscopy.
It's fantastic. It's pretty nice, isn't it?
It covers the whole garage door.
Yeah, and it's really sweet. All it is like a big tapestry, essentially. And there's like a Velcro tape that you put on the top of the garage door, and you Velcro tape the sheet to it, and then there's like a couple of bungee cords, and you hook them up underneath on the back side of the garage door, so it just stays on there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we got a text from Melissa, and this is the one I wanted to get to here, Shaw. This is actually right up my alley.
Okay.
As I said earlier, my wife and I, in the month of October, we almost exclusively watch horror films. A lot of times the same ones we've seen many times over.
A recommendation?
Melissa says, I'm relatively new to horror movies. What would be your suggestion on the top 5 horror films that everyone needs to see?
Okay.
Well, that's obvious. I mean,
are you going with the classics?
That's the best thing about horror films, right? The classics have stood the test of time. You have to see The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone will agree it's the number one. And I'm just saying in terms of horror and scary, I mean, there's different versions of Halloween films. You know what I mean? There's outer space ones that are scary. There's, zombie ones that are scary, so, but if you're thinking in terms of like the 5 must-watch Halloween films that are horror movies that are scary, Exorcist has got to be number 1. Has to be. And then I would say stick to the classics. Like Michael Myers, Halloween, the original, Tobe Hooper. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, right? He comes in your dreams and kills you with his glove. I mean, that was such an impactful film.
Sure.
Obviously, the first Friday the 13th. It's tough with that series, though, because the first one was so good, but it wasn't Jason. It was the mom, right? Hashtag spoiler alert, Melissa. The third one is when he gets the mask and he becomes Jason, which is the figure that you see in all the rest of the films. After those first 4, you can really just sort of like pick whichever one you want. I mean, The Shining is a classic that a lot of people love. You've obviously got the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is
don't really like that movie.
Bloody and gory and psychologically taxing.
But I don't know.
Alien, the original with Sigourney Weaver.
I was going to say that, or do you count Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. It's a psychological thriller, and it's got some blood and guts in it.
I don't like the Saw series, but I know a lot of people are.
But I would say, I mean, top 5 must see.
Rosemary's Baby.
Sure.
Stick with the classics. I mean, Rosemary's Baby's okay.
It's too. Didn't you just see a remake?
It's black
of
and
that?
white, isn't it, Brian?
No, it's not black and white. It's in color, and I've seen it, and it's okay.
Didn't you just see
There's
a
too
remake
much
of
old
it?
people nudity. That's the problem. There's too much old man dick in that movie, and I got enough of that at the Y.
I don't need that.
You know what I mean, Shaw? You go in the locker room and you see too much of that in real life. I don't need to see it on TV.
Yeah. Shaw, what do you like scary?
Poltergeist is always good. I'd put that on the list, probably.
There you go. That's another good one. But you see, there's so many to choose from, but it's hard to. I would say in terms of top 5, Exorcist has to be on that list somewhere.
So you're just going classics. You don't want to do any like The Strangers or A Quiet Place or any of those kinds of things.
What was the one where they came out of the television?
The Ring.
The Grudge?
The Ring.
The Ring, yeah.
Or The Ring.
The girl with the hair.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and that's another thing. There's a whole lot of really good. Audition is a fantastic.
Heredity, that whole series.
Yeah, the A24 films. So it's hard to say, but I would if you're going to start as a newcomer to the genre of horror films, start with the classics and then branch off from there. Because you can't go wrong with Exorcist and Halloween and
Especially
Friday the
this time of year.
13th. Yeah.
So what'd you watch last night? You started the...
Well, we finished up... The first one we finished up last night, because we only got through half of it the other night because I've been sick, was the first Conjuring film. Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
They're the Ed and Lorraine Warren movies. And then we started watching a movie called The Exorcism, which stars Russell Crowe as an actor who's playing a priest in a film, and then he gets possessed, and it's okay. It's tough, though, man. There's so many of them. But I would say classics. You can go with the classics on that.
And a scary movie doesn't have to be great. You know what I mean? It just has to be scary.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is there's also comedy horror films, right? There's a whole other subgenre there of, you look at Army of Dead or Army of Darkness, Ash versus the Evil Dead, that kind of stuff.
There's Hellraiser and there's
there's body horror and there's zombies and there's
clowns.
Vampires. There's,
And there's the psychological one, like Get Out. I would put that on the list, too. That is a frightening movie.
Yeah. Which isn't your traditional horror film either.
Not at all.
So, Three-Way with Shaw. We'll get back to him for some actual news next time. Buck Cherry coming up after Lincoln Park.
Rock Mornings on 95.7 The Rock.
Buck Cherry with Lit Up on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. And no big surprise whenever you talk about things like pizza or horror movies, people are going to text in with opinions. Brandon texted in. Brandon, said, my cousins and I always watch House on Haunted Hill. And I asked if it was the original or the remake, and he said original, never knew there was a remake. And I said,
it sure is.
Well, there's always a remake. There's one from the 50s, I think, that had I'm pretty sure it was Vincent Price. And then there's one from the late 90s, which I'm guessing is the one that Brandon was watching, the one from the 90s. But Cheryl also texted in and said she watched the new Salem's Lot, which premiered on Max, I think, yesterday, the streaming service.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Said, watched it last night. A bit different than the original and the book, but good. The hubby couldn't stay awake, though. Melissa also texted back in and said, awesome, thank you. It's a bit overwhelming. I watched Heredity and Get Out, and I love those two. Yeah, if you're looking for those kind of horror movies, and the ones I suggested are not going to, those are a little different. Yeah.
It? How about It? Do you not? It's the clown thing for you. You don't find that?
I mean, the original miniseries with what's his nuts, Tim, the guy.
Mm-hmm. That was scarier to you, the original one?
Yeah, I'm not, you know me, I'm not a fan of remakes and reboots and stuff like that, so. But again, thankfully, you'll never run out of horror films to watch.
Ever.
But if you're looking for must-watch and you're just new to the series or new to the genre, then I would say go with the classics, start there, and then start to branch out.
Didn't the Mickey Mouse slasher just come out this week, too?
Well, there is a Mickey Mouse one. And then, of course, there's a couple of Winnie the Pooh ones. Sports on Rock Mornings. You got the Mets beating the Brewers yesterday to end their season. 4-2 final score. Pete Alonso with that big 3-run homer late in the game. And
thumbs down.
ALDS, NLDS, both series kick off tomorrow. Detroit at Cleveland, 12:08 on TBS. Mets at Phillies, 3:08 on Fox. Royals at the Yankees, 5:38 on TBS. Padres at the Dodgers, 7:38. That game on FS1. Week 5 in the NFL kicking off last night. Kirk Cousins throwing for a career-high 509 yards and 4 touchdowns, getting the 36-30 overtime win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Vikings in London Sunday at 8:30 in the morning to take on the Jets. That game can be seen on the NFL Network. Bears hosting the Panthers at noon on Sunday. Badgers in L.A. to take on the Rams at 3:25 on Sunday. Badgers hosting Purdue tomorrow at 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network. Terry Francona, Tito, coming out of retirement to manage the Reds, agreeing to a deal with the Cincinnati Reds for 1 year. And the Savannah Bananas are taking it on the road.
Doing what? Like a TV thing?
No, they're going to NFL stadiums and Major League Baseball stadiums, but they're not coming to Milwaukee. Savannah Bananas taking their unique brand of banana ball to 18 Major League Baseball stadiums and 3 football stadiums next year, 2025. The owner, Jesse Cole, said sellouts are expected at each of those venues. The football stadiums that will host the Savannah Bananas next year are Memorial Stadium for Clemson, Nissan Stadium, Tennessee Titans play there, and the Bank of America Stadium, which is where the Carolina Panthers play. The Bananas will also play 2 games each in the home ballparks of the Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, Orioles, Astros, Mariners, Padres, Pirates, White Sox. There's one in the area. Rockies, Nationals, Reds, Royals, Cardinals, Angels, Braves, Rays, and Marlins. So
they're just going to totally be on the road then.
Yeah, they're taking it on the road. So, if you've always wanted to see the Savannah Bananas but didn't want to go to Georgia, you'll have a chance to check them out somewhere a little bit closer to home.
Those athletes must get paid pretty well.
I would assume. I mean, if the games are selling out and
they're, yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're getting paid like Major League Baseball players, but they're probably getting a decent sum of money, you would assume. I'd like to go. It'd be fun. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get back to Shaw in just a couple of minutes. Also got some Green Day on the way, and we're going to talk to Office Core about things going on in the 715 this weekend.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Billy Morrison and Ozzy getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist, and everybody and their grandmother is going to be there, apparently, Shaw. Jack Black's going to do the induction, I believe, like the speech, and like Jelly Roll and Billy Idol and Billy Idol's grandmother. And it's crazy, man. No, seriously, I'm not surprised. I mean, you're talking about Ozzy. Everybody wants to be a part of that.
Uh-huh.
Jack Black will be presenting, and a whole bunch of people are going to be performing, including Billy Idol, Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers, Wolfgang Van Halen, Maynard James Keenan from Tool and Pucifer and A Perfect Circle.
Star-studded is
Robert Trujillo from Metallica, Jelly Roll, Zakk Wylde, and a whole bunch of others. Also, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced that Kelly Clarkson will perform in honor of Foreigner.
She can hit every note.
October 19th, so just a couple weeks on Disney Plus, you'll be able to watch that. Jelly Roll and everybody else, and Jack Black, who obviously is a big fan of rock and roll.
Well, and Ozzy's got Parkinson's now. And, this is an opportunity for everybody to tip their hat to the King of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness.
Okay.
I'm the Prince of effing Darkness.
Prince King.
Come on, man.
So October 19th, is this?
Yeah, so in a couple weeks it'll air live on Disney Plus, and then, of course, there'll be the replay and all that stuff. But Ozzy, getting everybody to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzy's so popular that he was in the Jerky Boys movie, Shaw. That's when you know That's when you know you really made it.
Excuse me. Who are you guys? Where's Bob and BJ?
They're in a jet now over Japan. We heard they got a gig with the monkeys.
The fucking monkeys? You're kidding me.
Don't worry about nothing. Me and Jocko here, they've been wiring up for years. We'll wire up a toilet seat. It'll suck the pants off you. We're the best.
That's when you know you really made it, Shaw, is when you're in the Jerky Boys film.
That one? Okay.
What a strange world we were living in back then. Three-way now with Shaw in the newsroom. What else is going on?
Well, the union representing 45,000 striking U.S. dock workers at East and Gulf Coast ports reached a deal to suspend their 3-day strike until mid-January to provide time to negotiate a new contract. The union is to resume working immediately. The temporary end of the strike came after the union and the U.S. Maritime Alliance, which represents ports and shipping companies, reached a tentative agreement on wages. They say that the ports sweetened their wage offer from about 50% over 6 years to 62%. The union went on strike early Tuesday after its contract expired in a dispute over pay and the automation of tasks at 36 ports stretching from Maine to Texas.
Now you start to realize who the longshoremen are, right? People never gave a about us until now, when they finally realized that the chain is being broke now.
Mm-hmm. You just want me to do more stories about this so you can play that clip, don't you?
I'm gonna ride that donkey until it passes out, Shaw. Right. I love it. I just think that might be some of my favorite 9 seconds we've ever played here.
This is interesting. Prosecutors in Los Angeles are reviewing new evidence in the case of Eric and Lyle Menendez to determine whether they should be serving life sentences for killing their parents in their Beverly Hills mansion more than 35 years ago. The Los Angeles District Attorney said there's no question that Eric Menendez and his brother Lyle committed the murders, but his office will be reviewing new evidence and will make a decision on whether a resentencing is warranted. The new evidence apparently includes a letter written by Eric Menendez that his attorneys say corroborates the allegations that he was sexually abused by his father. The brothers have said they killed their parents out of self-defense after enduring a lifetime of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse from them. Their attorneys argue that because of society's changing views on sexual abuse, that the brothers may not have been convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole today.
Yeah. And apparently they're going to be speaking for the first time on Netflix.
Oh, is that right?
So there's a series now that we watched, and it's a fictional retelling or whatever you want. It's not a documentary. It's a fictionalized retelling of them. But apparently they are going to be interviewed and talking about it for the first time in a long time, and that's going to air on Netflix later this month.
The IRS is expanding its program that allows people to file their taxes directly with the agency for free. The Direct File program allows taxpayers to calculate and submit their returns to the government directly without using commercial tax preparation software. In the 2025 tax season, more than 30 million people in 24 states, including Wisconsin, will be eligible to participate. The program was rolled out as a pilot program last year in 12 states. Now the IRS says the program will be permanent. More than a dozen tigers were incinerated after the animals contracted bird flu at a zoo in Vietnam. They say the animals had been fed with raw chicken bought from nearby farms. That's apparently what made them sick. Their bodies were incinerated and buried on the premises. Samples taken from the tigers tested positive for H5N1, the virus that causes bird flu. And Eminem killed off his alter ego, Slim Shady, with his latest album, but he's making way for a new nickname, Grandpa.
Dude, I saw that yesterday. I'm like, what?
The rapper announced that his daughter, Haley Jade, is pregnant. He did so in a touching music video.
Yes,
that's a
it was
tribute to
sweet,
their
but-
relationship. In one clip of a recent home video, his daughter hands Eminem a jersey with the name Grandpa on the back with the number 1. She also hands him some ultrasound photos, and he looks shocked.
Slim Shady's a grandpa.
Did she marry Tony Hawk's son? Which one? Or no, is that the Nirvana?
No.
Is that Kurt Cobain's kid? Didn't she marry Tony Hawk's kid? I can't keep up with all this crap. Somebody famous got married to somebody else famous, I guess.
This is not him.
Long and short
this
of it.
is
but
Evan McClintock, and they
Okay.
met at Michigan State University.
All right. Yeah. Hi, Mr. Eminem. I'd like to marry your daughter. You got to ask his permission, right? I mean, like, you got to...
Yeah, Tony Hawk's son Riley is married to Frances.
Bean?
Yeah,
Okay.
Bean.
That's what I thought. One of those two.
And didn't... no.
Boy, Amy, she's like Michelle. Amy and Michelle are in competition for who can give me the answers the fastest. Michelle texts in. Amy sends me Facebook messages. Amy says Cobain's daughter. So, yeah, Kurt Cobain's daughter, her and Courtney Love. Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain had Frances Bean Cobain, and she's married to Tony Hawk's kid? Okay. Gotcha. You see what you're going to miss out on, Shaw? All this riveting radio, all this stuff in retirement.
And,
how will I keep up?
And Bon Jovi's kid married Millie Brown from Stranger Things.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, just
Big
recently
Bon
they got married in
Jovi.
Italy, I think.
I saw a headline yesterday that said that, like, she posted a picture of herself in like a bikini, and now they want her to get an OnlyFans. I'm like, isn't she like 17?
No, she's
like
married.
21 now, right?
Yeah.
Just put out the damn season already.
Right. That's my thing.
Stop
Why do we
worrying
have
about
to wait
OnlyFans
till
and bikini pictures.
2025.
Put out the goddamn season.
2025? Really?
That's when Strangers... Yes. I'm sure it's already filmed and everything. They're just working on all the stuff afterwards.
Well, hurry up. Isn't that your only job?
You had one job.
You have one job here. Produce it and get it out. What the hell?
All right. Shaw in the newsroom for a three-way. We'll get back to him in just a bit for another one, plus bad news, happy music later on. It's Green Day.
Rock Mornings on your rock station.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on the phone with Office Cora. How are you doing up there in the 715?
I am doing great. How are you guys?
Doing all right. This will be first of many having you on the program talking about things going on in the Eau Claire area as we have obviously taken our show on the road. We've gone up there for the last, 9-10 months, whatever it is. And now we want to find out what's going on in the area because we tend to visit up there occasionally, but you're there all the time. So let's find out what's happening this weekend in the 715. What do you got going on this weekend?
Well, I wish I was brave enough to do this. Maybe if you guys come with me, the night corn maze. You bring a flashlight and hope for the best. It's at Luffle Roots Apple Orchard. I was just there a couple weeks ago blasting apples through their apple slingshot and had a blast. But I'm not sure about going there at night.
Dude, you buried the lead on me because the slingshot thing sounds like way more fun than searching around in a corn maze at night.
Like trying to hit a target, or what are you doing with the apples?
Agreed. Yes, they had targets. I did not hit a single target, but wow, I had fun blasting apples through the slingshot.
Also, taking a flashlight and searching around in the dark sounds like a lot of my dating experience from when I was in my 20s.
Well, and you need to get your pumpkins. Halloween's coming up, so you can get your pumpkins, your apples. You can do the night maze and try not to freak yourself out. Sounds fun. What else? What else, Cora?
The Eau Claire Library is having a Beetlejuice teen night. Now, this sounds so fun. It's filled with silly challenges and snacks. And I was just thinking back to the day when we used fake IDs to get into a bar. Now I want to use a fake ID to get into the library because the cutoff is a senior in high school.
Now, where is that and when is that? Is that Saturday at the library there in Eau Claire?
It is Friday, 7 p.m. at the Eau Claire Library, and it's available for grades 7 through 12.
And can people find out more about that event and the one at the Apple Orchard by going to aroundthe715.com?
Bingo, exactly.
Very nice. And then what do you got on Sunday? What are you doing on Sunday Fun Day? You doing Bloodies or something somewhere or what?
Absolutely. That's my thing. I love Bloodies and, watching the Packer game.
Yeah, Packers, of course, in the afternoon on Sunday. So hit up a bar in the Eau Claire late afternoon game with some Bloodies in the morning.
Where's your favorite Bloody?
Yeah, what's your favorite Bloody in town?
Oh, I love going into Happy Hollow. They're just so good. I don't know what they do. I have a secret recipe, but it's delish.
What's the garnish situation for the Bloodies? What do we got in a Bloody at the Hollow?
To be completely honest, the garnish game is a little weak, but the Bloody itself is delish.
So it's the mix. It's whatever they're doing there with the mix that makes it a top-notch Bloody.
Yes, if I'm going for the garnish, I would have to go to Milwaukee Burger Company because it's practically a meal on a Bloody.
See, and I agree because we went to a place that's famous in Milwaukee for having a lot of, I won't mention them by name, but we've been there a couple times, and they're very famous for having a lot of accoutrement, but the Bloody itself was not very good. So I will say, I agree with you. If the Bloody's subpar, it doesn't matter how many chickens and burgers you put on this damn thing. It's not going to be worth it. But if the Bloody's up to snuff, then you can just leave it alone. You almost just need a pickle and an olive, and you're good to go.
Thank you. Agreed.
Well, Cora, have fun. And if people want to find out more about the stuff that's happening in the Eau Claire area, where can they go?
Around the 715.com.
Yeah, I'll be up there next weekend. So make sure that your list is top-notch for next weekend.
Absolutely, Gene.
Office Cora joining us here on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Thank you.
You're welcome.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Speaking of Kurt Cobain, all apologies, Nirvana, Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. Happy 48th birthday to Alicia Silverstone, 48 years young.
Hello, there was a stop sign. I totally paused.
Totally paused. Liev Schreiber is 57. Played Sabretooth. Ray Donovan, bunch of others.
Ooh. Shiny.
Yeah, shiny. Christoph Waltz is 68.
What is that? Who?
Inglourious Bastards, Hans Landa.
Yeah. Okay.
She runs away from the farmhouse right at the beginning, and he, au revoir, Shoshana. He got his comeuppance. Won Best Supporting Actor Oscar for that role, along with the bounty hunter King Schultz in Django Unchained. Pretty good actor, Christoph Waltz. Linda McMahon, 76, former CEO of the WWE, Vince McMahon's wife of 5 decades, and also Trump's administrator of the Small Business Administration. I don't know if she'll get that job back if he wins the election, but she's 76. Susan Sarandon is 78.
Thelma, I'm going to Mexico. Now, I figure I can make it in 2.5 days, but I'm going to have to haul ass.
Rocky Horror Picture Show, Thelma and Louise, Bull Durham.
She still looks decent.
So many to count. Susan Sarandon, 78. Anne Rice, born on this day in 1941. She died a couple years ago in 2021. She was the author of Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
Movies, TV shows. And today is also the anniversary of the birth of Charlton Heston.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
Born on this day in 1923. He died in 2008. Charlton Heston. You don't know too many people named Charlton anymore, do you? October 4th, 1957, 67 years ago today. Leave It to Beaver premiered on CBS.
Gonna be awfully rough on the beaver, I'm afraid.
It will be, yeah.
Rough on that beaver.
I know.
54 years ago today, 1970, the 27 Club got a new member by the name of Janis Joplin.
Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz?
Found dead of a heroin overdose in her room at the Landmark Hotel in Hollywood, only 27. Just finished recording her second solo album, Pearl. Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, Ron Pigpen McKernan, Amy Winehouse, and Janis Joplin, just to name a few.
Went on to be just an absolute classic, too, Pearl. That album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
1975, a plane crash in North Carolina killed the pilot and injured several wrestlers, including the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
You talking to the Rolex?
Oh, boy.
Wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down.
He's so amazing that he can survive a plane crash.
Just walked away, huh?
He probably carried all the other wrestlers out. That's how awesome Ric Flair is. On this day in 1985, a little movie called Commando made its way into theaters starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I ate green berets for breakfast. Right now, I'm very hungry.
These guys eat too much red meat. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando in theaters on this day in 1985.
I have to remind you, Sally, this is my week on.
This is my week on, Sully. Did I mention that Commando came out on this day in 1985 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
I lied.
That's what made you did. I lied.
Oh, man, it's so good. And he drops his ass off that cliff, flips that Porsche over, gets in it.
So I was just reading something. Escape Plan. Did you watch that?
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone.
Is it good?
The first one was. I think they made 2 sequels. If you want to watch the first one, it's okay. After that, I wouldn't recommend.
Okay.
But yeah, Arnold in Commando. 1994, a hell of an album made its way into stores. It's Nativity in Black, a tribute to Black Sabbath. And it's Biohazard, White Zombie, Megadeth, Corrosion of Conformity, Typo Negative, Sepultura, Faith No More, Ugly Kid Joe. Just so many awesome bands covering Sabbath tunes, all the classics that you love. That
It's
Typo Jam,
really, really
that
good.
Typo Jam might be one of my favorite songs of all time. Their cover of that, just awesome. 34 years ago today, 1990, Beverly Hills 90210 premiered on Fox. Original series ran for 10 seasons.
With everybody. Everybody was in that.
Yeah, and everybody was in their 30s. It's going to be like Stranger Things. They got a remake/reboot of the series in 2008, but the original series made its debut on this day 34 years ago. 28 years ago today, perhaps one of my wife's favorite films of all time. It's okay. I've seen it too many times to count because she watches it a lot. That movie, The Thing You Do, in theaters on this day at 96, written, directed, and starring Tom Hanks. Boy band? No?
No.
From like the 50s or whatever?
No. Yeah. No.
I don't know. It does. Nothing about it rings for me. You know what I mean? Like, I get why she likes it, but I watched it. I'm like, all right. Sorry, hun. I love you, but that one
That was
doesn't
128 minutes of my life.
doesn't do anything for me. 2002, Red Dragon in theaters.
This is Louise, reborn. Do you see? Please, no. No? No what?
Ugh. Lecter. Edward Norton.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Fiennes. You got Philip Seymour Hoffman in that one. Gets super glued to an old rickety wheelchair and then set on fire. Ugh. Guy eats the painting. You ever seen that one? You want to talk creepy-ass movies. Red Dragon. That's right up
No
your alley.
thanks.
19 years ago today, 2005, Nickelback releasing their 5th album, All the Right Reasons, the one that kind of ruined their career.
Did it, though?
No, I mean, not from like a technical standpoint, but like, I think that's when the hate for Nickelback started, was when this song came out. And then people couldn't get past it.
I think it's just fine.
I don't care. I'm just saying, like, people hate that band. And I think it started with this album because Photograph came out and they're like, nope, we're not doing it. And then it just picked up steam and people were throwing rocks at them on stage. And I mean, they're fine. They're making money. They're selling albums. They're doing all right.
They're like, yeah, the band that everybody loves to hate, but yet goes and buys tickets.
I'm telling you, that's where it started, though. Photograph. People hate that song. And 5 years ago today, 2019, actually, the new one's coming out today as well. The original Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, made its way into theaters. Oscar-winning performance.
How about another joke, Murray?
No, I think we've had enough of your jokes.
What do you get?
I don't think so.
When you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and thinks him like trash.
Call the police.
I'll
Gene.
tell you what you get.
Call the police.
You get what you deserve.
Yeah. The next one, by the way, the one in theaters today, musical, apparently. So if you're going there expecting some Oscar-winning acting, you might get a little bit of that, but there's going to be some musical numbers, too. A lot of dancing.
Like song and dance?
I think so. Well, she put out a companion album. Her album is not the soundtrack. Her album's a companion album. That's how much singing there's going on. They had to have 2 albums. Yeah. That's too much goddamn singing.
It's a lot of singing.
Seether in just a bit, plus Scott Robert Shaw.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Tonight on the Hallmark Channel, it's Christmas in a supermarket. He's a former college football star, now scanning barcodes in the 10 items or less lane. She's a gorgeous widowed former cheerleader who just put 11 cartons of eggnog on the conveyor belt.
Do I see 11 there?
What'll happen when she refuses to move to another lane and he's in a rush to get home and watch a bowl game featuring his alma mater?
Well, I guess a little extra won't hurt.
Will they fight over nog or go to his place and snog? It's Christmas in a supermarket tonight on the Hallmark Channel.
No, we're not skipping Halloween and Christmas or Thanksgiving. But the Hallmark Channel is looking for their next Christmas stud. And they're going to have their first ever reality TV series to find their next Hallmark movie stud, Sean.
I think I'll be Mr. Christmas because I bring a lot of good energy to the table. Maybe pull off a few flannels every once in a while.
Besides my amazing smile, there's the perseverance, the resilience.
Charm, somebody who cares, somebody who loves their family.
It takes a little bit of love and kindness. Drive, character, strong jawline.
I will definitely be Mr. Christmas because I can sing, dance, and act. So here I am.
I'm ready for this step. I'm committed, I'm passionate,
Full of love, confident, happy. I embody a lot of the ideals that Hallmark really has.
I want to be able to bring the magic that Christmas brings to everybody in their home.
Starting on Halloween on Hallmark Channel, their first ever reality series called Finding Mr. Christmas.
Brother.
Bringing together 11 aspiring actors to compete in a variety of entertaining challenges with a Hallmark twist.
Sure.
To be crowned Hallmark's next leading man and take home the title of Mr. Christmas.
Yes.
That'd be a good job for me upon retirement.
There you go, Shaw.
You want to be a leading man?
You've often called me Mr. Christmas.
Yeah.
That would be a hilarious video for you.
Hang out.
I have my friends put up my tree.
Right.
They come over and decorate it for me.
I'm so Christmassy that I don't have to do anything.
I leave my lights
people
up
for that.
on the porch all year round. I just plug them in once it's Christmas time.
That's true.
I buy my cookies baked and decorated at Christmas. That guy.
Right?
October 31st on the Hallmark Channel, Finding Mr. Christmas, Shaw. I know you're going to be tuning in now that you're going to be retired. You're going to be looking for something to do, and it's going to be right up your alley.
I wrap my
your thing. Your
Christmas
jam.
presents in birthday paper. That's straw.
I don't even wrap them.
No.
I put Brian's bottle of Jameson in a plastic bag and put it on the counter.
Like a festival bag?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Like you wouldn't know what it was if I
Like,
wrapped
I don't
it in
care.
paper.
I'm fine. It doesn't bother me in the least. I just, there was no effort to conceal its identity.
You are Mr. Christmas.
Mm-hmm. I'd have one Grinch in the running there, don't you?
That seems the opposite of Finding Mr. Christmas.
Yeah, but it would be fun, though. For
it would be. You would be good. That'd be great.
Three-way with Shaw. What else is happening?
Vice President Kamala Harris has rallied side by side with Republican Liz Cheney in the birthplace of the Republican Party in Ripon, Wisconsin. The two women yesterday delivered a denunciation of GOP nominee Donald Trump as a threat to democracy. Cheney urged the crowd to reject the depraved cruelty of Donald Trump. Harris's visit to Wisconsin came one day after a federal judge unsealed a 165-page court filing outlining the prosecutor's case against Trump for his attempt to overturn his 2020 election defeat. Closing in on the last month before the fall elections in Wisconsin, a political panel in La Crosse spoke yesterday about public fears of election fraud. 3 people on the panel were retired members of Congress from Wisconsin, including Tim Petri, who readily defends the fairness of the system.
Win or lose, they're very fair, certainly in Wisconsin, and anything that I know about any race that I've ever run. Election people may make an occasional mistake, but they're trying to do the best job they can, and by and large, they do a great job.
Cross County Clerk Jenny Dankmeyer also sat on the panel. She says election fraud is ridiculously low in Wisconsin, arguing that some of the rare duplicate voting may be unintentional. And the La Crosse Police Department is looking to hire more officers. The city says it has 11 vacancies in its police department. Applications are now being accepted. You need to be at least 18 years old, have 60 hours of college or tech school credits, and be able to pass physical and mental tasks at the police academy. La Crosse police officers can make up to $73,000 a year.
You got tased. You went through the cop school. You went through the cop
Well,
training.
I do have over 60 hours of college experience, but that was almost 30 years ago now.
But you did the ride along and stuff.
Yeah, I'm good with guns.
It's a job I would not want.
I'm not good with people.
I think you have to be good.
Bro, people are stupid. How do you put up with them? You got to pull them over and be like, you dumbass.
I wouldn't.
Be like the Red Foreman of police. Break my foot off in your ass.
They don't want that.
My customer service skills are severely lacking. I did it for a long, long time, and I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to deal with people.
Yeah, serving your community is probably not your... It's not your...
God.
Which I think is required of the...
Is there a special cop they need for just the pit maneuver cop? Or when people aren't getting out of the way? Do they have just one officer that does that?
I don't think so.
I could be that cop. The pit maneuver cop.
Yeah, that's a need.
Call Brian.
Have.
We need
Right.
someone to get on the highway and pit maneuver this guy. Hell yeah.
Real niche cop thing.
Hell yeah.
We need
I'd
you
know
for
about
it.
that.
It's like, somebody
Great.
call Brian in this one circumstance. We need that.
Yeah, I couldn't. And now they got the bikes. They're around with the bikes. They can't. And they work for the city. And I don't know if I could work for the city.
You can't. Well, you just couldn't. For a lot of reasons.
They do
But
have
you
a
did-
union. They do have a union,
you
though,
did
right?
get
They do
tased.
got a union, right?
Mhm.
Oh, I remember. I got tased. I'm well aware. I did get tased.
You sure did.
But they got a union, right? So they got a union rep.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Someone that'll stand up and say nice things about him.
Now you start to realize who the longshoremen are, right? People never gave a about us until now, when they finally realized that the chain is being broke now.
Okay, it's not broke anymore. They went back
Love
to
it.
work. You can stop with that. They're back to work.
Love it. I'm sure Chuck's emailing me right now.
Yeah.
I'm too old to go and be
I
a
know,
cop.
that's what I'm
like
saying.
50,
There's a lot
bro.
of reasons that you could.
I'm fat. I'm out of shape. I have no desire to deal with the public.
All of those.
So
That's
what? I got. I don't want to get tased either.
In the con column, that's all of that stuff.
Yeah. We have a nice river right over there. We can just put everything we don't like in front of the plow blade and just push it right into the river, and then we'll solve all the problems.
Mm-mm.
Let it float down and be someone else's issue. No, can't do that. All right.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Corn with Freak on a Leash on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Got a message from our friend Morgan, the turtle lover.
Yes.
She said, I'll pass along your resume to my pals over at the PD.
I like turtles.
Morgan loves turtles. That's why we play that.
I like turtles.
She does love the turtles.
I said, dealing with the public, gross. She said, it's all fun and games until you get pooped on.
I don't think it's all fun and games at all.
Morgan, is not a police officer, but she does deal with
the public.
Yeah, in very stressful situations, and yeah,
And she likes turtles.
she does love turtles.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Morgan. I appreciate that. I know a lot of the officers, and trust me, they don't want me over there.
Well, you're worth the firefighters tonight, aren't you? Isn't that tonight?
Yeah,
there's again?
I'm just emceeing. They want me to do what I'm good at, which is emceeing. So I'll stick with that.
Talking to the microphone and leave them alone. Is that?
Yeah. USA Today putting together a list of the NFL stadiums, ranking the NFL stadiums 1 to 30.
By what? By
I don't know if there's like a set
affordability.
I don't think there's a set. I think it's just based on your experience.
Food choices.
I think it's like a sort of all-encompassing thing, as opposed to like a set number of
Like the best
right
places to watch a game. Well, Lambeau's got to be on there.
Oh, they're there. We'll get to them.
Get to them. It's not number one.
Help with the help of our league experts who have paid frequent visits to them, all 30 regularly used NFL stadiums. Number one, on the list is in Seattle, Lumen Field. They say, by the way, for this story, 6 USA Today sports writers who regularly cover the NFL were polled in order to achieve a collective staff ranking. Club win-loss records in respective stadiums as through the 2023 stadium and season include playoffs. But again, the year opened 2002, holds about 70,000 people. They say that Lumen Stadium in Seattle, number 1 on the list. It's a retroactive crime that the team and its rabid 12s were stuck in the concrete kingdom for nearly a quarter century. Though maybe they got even by propagating the wave throughout the sporting world. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
They also say it's a great place to go see a concert, apparently.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Number 2 on the list?
Yes.
Lambeau Field.
Or number 1 if you don't listen to their stupid list.
Opened in 1957. Holds about 80,000 people. USA Today says Lambeau is what all NFL stadiums should be. It has all of the amenities required in 2024. Jumbo video boards in both end zones, luxury suites, first-rate locker room for the Packers. No dome, but football was intended to be played in the elements. Not only the stadium and all the history that's occurred there make Lambeau so special, it's what surrounds it.
Yes.
It's right in the middle of the neighborhood, literally. There are people for whom Lambeau is their backyard.
Yes.
They will let you park in their driveway or on their lawn.
Yep.
And they will do this for a ridiculously low fee.
Mm-hmm.
Offer you a bratwurst and the use of their bathroom while they're at it. It's the perfect blend of quaint old world charm and modern glitz. And there's nothing else in the NFL like it.
Yeah, which is why it should be number 1 and not number 2 to Seattle. Dumb.
Well, the Packers always lose to Seattle. That's how it goes, whether it's the scab refs or otherwise.
Yeah, and our coach went there.
Number 3 is actually right up the street, the bank.
The bank is number 3.
Even though it killed all them birds after it was built. Opened in 2016, holds about 67,000 people. USA Today, again, putting together a list of the top NFL stadiums. You can go to their website if you want to see the full list, but they say that the bank, sub-freezing temperatures, even sub-zero temperatures, often descend there late in the season. It doesn't get much better than this, having a football
dome, right? I mean, that's
building.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it a dome.
I guess it's not a dome, but
the partially translucent roof and facade allows spectators to see the elements without actually being subject to them.
So what they love about Lambeau, they love the opposite thing about the bank.
You know, it gets cold in Lambeau, too.
Yeah.
It's even colder.
It's a little bit more north. Is that your thing?
Check it out. NFL rankings for the stadiums according to usatoday.com. Lambeau at 2. The bank up in the cities at number 3. Both following Seattle's Lumen Stadium. Bad News, Happy Music is coming up next. Stick around.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man. Florida Man. Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Friday edition of Bad News, Happy Music. What do we got, Shaw?
Well, a Mexican national was gunned down in broad daylight near a luxurious Cancun resort by 2 suspects who then fled on jet skis as tourists huddled inside during the scary scene.
Yo.
The fatal shooting happened in what police believe was a targeted attack behind the 5-star Rio Caribe Hotel. At least 2 gunmen approached the unidentified victim and fired multiple times. After that, they fled on their jet skis.
So we don't know if this guy worked there or was just vacationing?
They say he was not a guest and was not an employee of the hotel. It's believed the fatal victim may have been part of the shooting death of a 12-year-old over the summer. At that time, in broad daylight, 2 gunmen on jet skis opened fire on the beach, killing the boy, who was an innocent bystander, when they attempted to take out a rival drug dealer.
Oh, my gosh.
The U.S. State Department has encouraged tourists from the U.S. to use increased caution when traveling to Mexico. 24-year-old man accused of attempting to sexually assault a woman who had been recovering at a hospital in Atlanta after suffering a stroke told police that he was high on crack when he slipped into the patient's room. It was on September 27th that Shaman Pierce told police in Atlanta that he was high and smoking drugs when he walked into a 47-year-old woman's room, got naked, and attempted to sexually assault her before she woke up and found him on top of her.
Was he a patient at the hospital, or he just happened to be high and went into the hospital?
He was just high. He was. He's being held without bond on charges of aggravated assault, battery, and sexual battery. Police say he walked into the hospital, hopped onto an elevator, and started smoking his crack pipe in front of several nurses who reported what happened to security. As the staff waited for security to arrive, he managed to slip into a hospital room where this 47-year-old stroke patient was recovering.
Oh, my gosh.
The woman told police when she woke up, she saw Pierce trying to put a sheet over her head. Nurses heard the commotion and entered the room. They tried to block him inside, but he was too strong and overpowered them. He then ran out of the hospital completely naked. Police eventually found him hiding out under a bridge near the hospital.
Wow.
Right?
This story has everything.
Well, how about this one then? A high-speed chase in Nebraska ended yesterday in dramatic fashion when a fleeing car burst into flames.
Oh, snap.
Igniting live ammunition inside and spreading fire to a nearby field. It was around 1 in the morning. A trooper tried to stop a car, but the driver fled off at speeds of up to 130 miles an hour. A trooper deployed stop sticks, but the car continued. Then they used a vehicle intervention, a pit maneuver,
one of those.
and brought the car to a stop in a ditch.
That's my jam.
All 3 people inside were taken into custody, but troopers noticed smoke coming from the vehicle, which then caught fire. Live ammunition that was inside the car began popping as the fire spread to a nearby field. Police and firefighters responded and extinguished the blaze. The 3 suspects, all from Colorado, were arrested on drug and weapons charges.
Yeah, don't stand next to that fire.
Pew, 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 pew.
A moose got stuck in an in-ground swimming pool in New Hampshire yesterday.
Aww.
Police and firefighters responded to the home around 8:30 in the morning. The moose, an adult, was found trapped in the covered pool. Police said it's likely the moose mistook the pool cover as part of the ground and fell through. They figured the moose had probably been there for about 4 hours by the time they got there.
Just having a bath.
First responders pulled the cover off the pool. That allowed the moose to exit through the shallow end. It only took about 30 seconds for the animal to leave once they started removing the cover.
And the moose is like, man, I'm just chilling in here.
Man in Indiana charged in a child neglect case after his 6-month-old son was found with more than 50 rat bites on his body. David Schonnebaum has been sentenced now to 16 years in prison. It took the jury less than 2 hours to deliberate. They say the rat bites will permanently disfigure the boy. 2 others were also charged in the case. Angel Schonnebaum pleaded guilty to a lesser neglect charge, and she'll be sentenced later this month. The baby's aunt took a plea deal and was sentenced to 2 years of probation.
Where the hell was this kid? Were these rats in the house?
I am assuming.
Big box of glue traps to help me deal with my excessive rat problem.
That is excessive rat problem.
How many?
50
Take
rat
this quarter.
bites.
Go downtown and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face.
Yo.
Bring it over to that guy's house.
Right. Yeah, he's got plenty of them.
And people and kids, every time, trying to sell a baby for $1,000 and a 6-pack. You got rat bites. It's just, what are we doing?
I almost want this guy to break into my place. A 36-year-old man in Wales broke into a woman's home and then did all of her chores for her. His trial was just held this week. The woman who lived there was at work when he broke in, hung her laundry out to dry.
Oh, all right. So the laundry's been cleaned, but it hasn't been hung up, so he does that.
Put her groceries away.
Ding, that's 2.
He emptied her recycling.
Wait a minute.
That's
Her
3.
groceries were just sitting out? Like she went to the store and got groceries and then just left
I don't know if these were just pantry items or I don't know. But he also tidied up her garden, refilled her bird
4,
feeders,
5,
organized her refrigerator,
6,
mopped the floors,
7. Oh, man, Gene, you just lost her. Panties are off.
Put out a bottle of wine,
8,
cooked dinner,
9,
and left a note that said, "Don't worry, be happy, eat up."
And then he left.
He left after that and wasn't there when she got home from work.
That's everything you want.
But it freaked her out for obvious reasons.
I wouldn't be freaked out. I'd be like, all right, sweet. I got little Keebler elves in my house.
Do you know what he made for dinner?
It does not say.
Was it just pasta, like a cheap pasta?
Or was it TV
What are we
dinner?
talking? Are we talking about some kind of
there was wine to go with it, so I assume it was
or something? What do you say?
more than just chips and salsa or something.
Oh, mama.
Apparently, according to this guy's lawyer, he was homeless at the time and undergoing a number of difficulties.
That doesn't sound very much like difficulties. That sounds like a guy who's got a job.
Right.
Coming over.
Butler. He's a butler.
However, a judge sentenced him yesterday to 22 months in jail.
You can't really go into other people's houses, but
I like the fact that I like the fact that he left afterwards.
I think
as bad as that could have been, he could have pooped on the floor. You know what I mean? He could have.
He mopped the floor. Are you kidding?
He could have made love to all your, vegetables. I mean,
so she came home and then was like, "Wait a minute. There's food. There's a bottle of wine.
There's a
wow,
note.
These clothes look good and dry."
Bro,
and the
I don't know in all the years that we've been doing this show that I've ever seen Gene's face light up more than when you said he organized the refrigerator. She just about had an orgasm. It just the eyes started to roll back like the Undertaker, bro. It was quite a sight in here. It was steamy.
So I do that almost every morning before I leave the house.
You
to
do
come
what?
to it.
Wait, go back. You do what every morning?
Wait a minute. This is the first you've ever heard of this?
You do this you organize your refrigerator every day? Is that what I'm hearing?
You're saying it like it's
it sounds like an obsession.
Day.
Hey, why don't you just
every
there, Mr. Retirement?
Day. Right, Shaw?
Just a little thing.
And you're meaning to do mine for like 3 months.
And you're going to retire. And you're retiring from all this. All of this entertainment. You're leaving it behind. You're like,
I might have to rethink it now.
I don't need this in my life. I don't need to know about people who reorganize their refrigerator every single day.
I'm just saying, if the cheese and butter are not in the drawer, what's the point of the drawer, Shaw?
She will put it back in there. She will get up, get ready, and then before she leaves the house, Shaw, she will open the fridge just to check.
Right.
And if things are out of place,
or it's wrapped up in
and
foil.
I'm the crazy one with the OCD in here with my papers all lined up properly. I'm that guy, right? Yeah.
You guys are quite a pair.
Jesus Christ. You I can't believe you didn't know that, Shaw.
Well, I knew you were very organized in terms of your refrigerator. I didn't know you did it daily.
Well, I don't do the whole thing. I just kind of freshen it up a little bit.
It's a glance on the weekdays, and then on the weekends there's a more deep dive.
Yeah. Well,
I can't believe you want to leave all this behind. I can't believe you want to go back to where people are normal.
Play with us some more? Oh, man.
Bro, if we were married, I would disorganize that. I'd get up in the middle of the night just to disorganize it, just to drive you crazy. I would relish it. I'd roll around in it if I could.
I know.
Can you imagine being married to someone that insane? That you could trigger them by putting the butter in a different drawer, like to the point that they would pull their hair out.
I wouldn't pull my hair out.
Every day, though, you could put the butter somewhere else. Like, where is the butter? Where'd you put the butter? Where is it? Why is it behind the milk? It has its own special thing over here on the door.
Don't you know that? Duh, with the cheese.
I don't know if there's any point in doing any more bad news, Sean. So, did you have anything award winner at the end?
No.
Just saved it all.
Right there.
Shredded cheese in a bag, just anywhere in the refrigerator. That's crazy.
I'm the same way with my. I'm the same way with my fridge. But I don't do it. I don't look in it every morning. If I'm opening the door,
I have to get the creamer out to put it in my coffee.
The creamer's right up at the top.
I know it is. It better be.
It better be right there where she wants it.
And the milk's on the other side.
No, it's on the bottom drawer in where it's a bigger space. But the creamer's on the top shelf.
We got our milk and our creamer on the top shelf on the main
better be on
floor.
The top shelf.
Yeah, it's eye level.
Yes.
And then below that is like. What's the one below that? That is like sauces and dips and things of that nature. Potato salad, cottage cheese, anything kind of in a jar in a container.
Veggies and fruits go in their own drawers.
Well, then the next shelf is sodas and other
that's the big one.
Drinking.
That's the big.
And then the first drawer is where the cheese and the meats go. So
the long one.
Any cheese and any meats that I have go in that one. The next drawer down is where the veggies and stuff go. And then the bottom drawer is
fruits and vegetables.
The coffee and then like the bag full of random sauce packets that we have are in that bottom drawer.
Oh God, random sauce sauce packets.
That sounds like chaos.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's in a bag.
Throw those away. You
no,
never
it's in a
use
bag.
them.
Bro, we use the F out of them packets every single time.
Do you really?
Because it's all the stuff you don't have. Like, we have ketchup and relish and mustard and mayo. We got all that crap. You know what's in this bag?
I don't know.
It's a 2-gallon bag
that would
full.
make me crazy.
It's like all the different hot sauces. It's the duck sauce.
Chick-fil-A.
It's any sauce that anytime you go through the drive-thru, you get 30 packets. You just throw a couple in there.
In your fridge.
Yeah.
Ah.
You don't have that?
No.
It's better than having bottles of that stuff that you're never going to use all of.
Ugh.
You just have the little packets.
Yeah. Well, at least you have a drawer for it, so I don't have to look at it.
Well, and it's in a bag, too. It's separated, and it's in a bag. Down there with a coffee.
Oh. Shaw.
Yeah. I've learned a lot here today.
You don't have any packets?
That should be the number one thing you do when you retire, Shaw.
Organize my fridge.
Start with your fridge.
I've been meaning to, Gene. You've inspired me to do it.
God, Shaw, organize the damn thing, would
You're
you?
going to have plenty of time in
Yeah.
it. Is Mary working on a list?
I am working on a list.
Oh, what have you made?
I'll put that one on the list.
Put it on the top.
Well, we're going
Move
to get it. I want to get into that next week, all right?
Let's hear your list.
As we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Next week, I want to get into this list. I want to see what's on it.
Okay.
All right?
Organize refrigerator. Got
Move it to number one. You should do that today when you get home.
He may need a week just to think about you looking in your fridge every morning and reorganizing it before you come to work. He may need a week to pontificate that because I think you blew his mind.
I know.
Bad news, happy music. Thanks, Shaw. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. There's nothing wrong with a bag full of condiments.
Nothing wrong with freshening it up every morning. Don't make that face.
Psychiatrists would argue otherwise.
Okay, paper boy over there. Just relax.
The papers are neatly organized so that I can find them easily amidst the chaos of this studio. I'm sorry that some of us like to work clean as opposed to the disaster on that side of the counter and in your stupid, messy office where everything's a mess. Not all of us like to live in chaos.
Rock mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us.
Check.
We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com is the website to find all our contact info. If you're looking to get in touch with us. Got an email from Sherry. Said, if you want gory, scary, funny movies, watch the Terrifier series, a must-watch for horror fans. We had a text from Melissa earlier, said she was new to the genre and wanted suggestions on 5 must-watch horror films. And I said, you can't go wrong with the classics. You have to start there.
The Terrifier series?
Yeah, it's Art the Clown. The white face with the black lips and all that.
Nope.
Very gory. I think the 3rd one just came out or is coming out. But yeah, Melissa, I would recommend if you're going to go horror films,
go classics. You
got to start with The Exorcist. I mean, these characters are classics and have lived through the test of time for a reason because they're that good. Michael Myers, Freddy, Jason Voorhees.
If you haven't seen those, you have to see those.
Yeah, I mean, they're a must. You can't tell the story of horror films without talking about Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, even Chucky. Leatherface, all those. Pinhead. Yeah. Pat said, texted in, said, stop playing music, let's talk refrigerators. You are right, Gene is crazy. I've been saying that for years, so that's nothing new. I'm not like...
Everybody has their thing, Pat. Don't be a name caller.
So defensive over your refrigerator reorganization every morning.
It's just a little thing here and there. It's not like I get out and scrub it. I just kind of move things around. Cheese goes in here, butter wise that out, and put things away. Fill up my coffee, put the creamer in, and I'm out the door, Pat. Judgy McJudger.
You want to talk about the shelf by the sink, too, or you want to wait for another show to do that?
The windowsill.
You want to talk about that one, too?
It fills up with stuff that I need to get out of there. I live in a very small house.
It's not that small.
Things need to be not cluttered.
You have 2 less people living there now.
Yeah.
You have no more excuses.
It still needs to be less cluttered.
You want to talk about that still? You want to talk about that too?
Pat, that wasn't very nice.
Rob, earlier we were talking about the NFL stadium rankings. He said F Green Bay because Green Bay sucks. I'm going to Soldier Field. I'm going to say Soldier Field is at the bottom of that list. Well, you can go to usatoday.com to find the full list.
Why is everybody so angry today?
Well, Rob's always angry. He has nothing better to do with his life.
Then be angry with us? Okay.
He did agree with me, though, that the 9 seconds of audio of that guy, the union boss guy,
is great.
Made him want that guy as the union rep for his job. Yeah. Travis just texted in and said that does sound insane.
Well, it's wonderful that they can take a little peek inside of my life and then judge me. Thanks, Travis. Appreciate that.
She's getting real upset right now.
I'm glad it's Friday. I'm glad it's Friday.
I could walk around the building and do an impromptu poll about how crazy it is.
Oh, I'm sure most people would agree. That's fine. Everyone's got stuff.
Dude, we all have a thing. And if it satisfies that thing to do something about it every day, whatever. I have a million things. You would laugh to watch me set up the studio every morning. You would laugh. You would come in here and you'd watch me.
And laugh.
And laugh. You'd be like, what is wrong with that guy? But this is my office for 8 hours, and then I'm gone. So I have to reset it every morning.
Everybody's got their thing, Travis.
And
Pat.
it's always out of order when I come in. Every day. So I have to reset it. But I don't open the door to the fridge and reorganize every morning before I leave the house. That's something crazy people do.
Shut up.
Thanks for all the correspondence. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.